What's up, everyone? I wanted to share with you guys what have been my go-to methods for consistently making money when it comes to bossing in old school. All of these bosses have one thing in common, which make them awesome, and it's that even if you go dry on the big items that they have, you'll still make a ton of money in the meantime because their other drops are also very valuable. All of the bosses I have also found are pretty easy to learn from just a little practice, which makes them convenient for those of you that are still new to bossing. I love doing these types of bosses because it's so much less painful when you go dry, knowing that you're still making a lot of money despite not getting the high value item. I'll also share with you guys how much GP I have gained from fighting each of them, so we'll do a little comparison between my kills and GP from the tracker. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so the first boss I have to include on this list is the Corrupted Gauntlet. While this boss can definitely be challenging at first to learn, it is one of those bosses where once you understand how to collect everything and make time, you make it 90+% of the time, I would say. It's also not bad because you go in with no armor or items, so if you die, all you lose is your time. If you're looking for how to do this, I actually have a guide on my channel for it. You also obviously need access to Peril in order to do this by doing Song of the Elves. So I know that's takes a lot of requirements and stuff, but I really think it's worth it for this boss. The real allure of this boss, though, is really twofold, and the biggest one, is that it has a 1 in 400 chance of dropping the enhanced Crystal Weapon Seed, which is currently going for 165 mil. I've always kind of treated this boss in the sense of money making like it's a raid, because you can really make as much money doing this in 1KC as you could in doing a raid. You also have a 1 in 50 chance at the same time of getting a Crystal Armor Seed, which sells for 8.7 mil currently. As I mentioned before, this boss is also incredible because even when you don't get those drops, you still manage to get around 100 to 200k per kill on average, which is pretty nice for going dry in 10 minutes of your time. According to the OSRS wiki, you can make around 5.3 mil an hour and 856k a kill on average. That's including the purples. So if you've been waiting to do Song of the Elves and haven't tried this boss yet because of it, I couldn't recommend it strongly enough. Just make some quick money and grow your bank very quickly. Like I said, even without the purple drops. For myself, I've completed the Corrupted Gauntlet 426 times, despite the loot tracker showing here something different because it counts the amount of times you've died, which for me was a lot when I was learning it. But anyway, and I've made 340 mil with this collection log here, which is frankly just average. But yeah, I couldn't recommend this boss enough if you haven't tried it yet. Alright, next I want to talk about doing the Phantom Muspah. In order to do this boss, you need to have completed Secrets of the North. It's also recommended you have at least 85 range, 85 magic if you're doing switches, 75 defense, and 74 prayer. The big drop out of this boss is the Venator Shard, which is a 1 in 100 drop and is currently going for 15 mil, which is actually sadly dropped in the last couple months. The nice thing about this boss, though, again, is that all of the other things it drops also have a ton of value. I have also got a guide on my channel for this boss if you're looking to learn it. It's one of those bosses that once you learn how to do it, you'll never die again if you're just paying attention. According to the wiki, each kill is currently worth 300k, which is not bad at all, considering the boss only takes a few minutes to kill. For myself, I have killed the Muspah 116 times now and have made 29.4 mil with this collection log here, which I had to check the math on that, and it equals 254k a kill for myself personally, which I definitely cannot complain about. I was weirdly intimidated to start this boss for a while for some reason, even though I had done the quest. But then once I started doing it, I realized how easy it was and how great of a moneymaker it is. So if you're not already doing it, you definitely should be. I think I would say that my favorite boss so far in this game has to go to the Alchemical Hydra. Not even because I particularly love the mechanics of the boss, but because whenever I get the task, you're guaranteed to make like 50 to 100 mil by the time you've finished it. To do this boss, you need to have 95 Slayer, and it's also recommended to have at least 75 range. I'd probably even recommend a little bit higher. just for speed's sake, with 74 prayer and 85 hit points. He can be a little confusing to kill at first just to learn the mechanics, but as soon as you learn it, you'll never die to him again unless you're just not paying attention. If you're new to him, I also have a guide on my channel for this boss, which I'm realizing is turning into a bit of a pattern here, but you can check that out if you're curious on how to learn to do him. The big ticket items for him are the Hydra Claw, which is currently going for around 60 mil, and the Hydra Leather, which is going for a little over 9 mil. This boss, almost even more than all the rest, is one of the most consistent in the game, in my opinion. Like I said before, if you get this task, you're guaranteed to make at least, I'd say, 20 to 30 mil, and almost always it's more than that, especially if you get any of those big items that I mentioned before. According to the wiki, the average Hydra kill is worth 206k, and the hourly rate is around 4.3 mil an hour, which, again, isn't bad at all. As far as I go, I have killed the Hydra the most, and I would say it got me into bossing, because I have done 1,791 of them now, and I actually don't have a picture of my loot because it's been a while since I've done it, so my tracker doesn't have it listed, and I don't have the task, so I can't kind of test it to see. But I remember I have around 500 mil doing it after I've gotten 3 claws and actually only 1 leather, as you can see here in my log. I always recommend training combat by doing Slayer, and being able to do this boss is like one of the main draws to that. Vorkath is one of the most classic, and I would imagine killed bosses in old school RuneScape. To do Vorkath, you need to have completed Dragon Slayer 2, and it is also recommended that you have 90 range and HP, as well as 74 prayer if you are killing him using range with a Toxic Blowpipe or the Dragon Hunter Crossbow. But if you are using a Dragon Hunter Lance, which is the most efficient way to do it, you want to have at least 90 in attack, strength, and HP, as well as 85 defense and 70 prayer. In this table here, you can see the different methods for killing him and the profits you can expect on average hourly from doing so. Obviously, if you can afford it, I would highly recommend getting yourself a Dragon Hunter Lance to get the most GP per hour that you can. Not only here, but it's nice to have for Chamber of Xeric too. This boss is different from the others in that getting the quote-unquote big item is a bit of a stretch because they have such a ridiculously bad drop rate, as you can see here, with the 1 in 5,000 chance for both the Draconic Visage and the Skeletal Visage. So you really rely on the non-big drops to make your profit. And despite those drop rates, each kill is still worth around 181k each. So the small items really go a long way in making money if you keep doing the runs. This boss also becomes super easy and mindless after you just do it a few times, so it isn't a bad thing to do when you're looking for something easy to make money. The average Vorkath kill is worth 181k, and like I showed before, you can see what to expect hourly based off of how you're killing him. For me personally, I've killed Vorkath 108 times and have made 18.7 mil off of that. This boss will never really give you the big, like, game-changing drop that you may be looking for, but it is also super consistent and will make you just a ton over time of doing it. Lastly, I wanted to talk about some newer content, which I have grown to love, and that is Moons of Peril. While Moons of Peril is incredibly similar to Boros, it also has its own spin on it, and is very nice because the drops usually have a higher value than Boros items, as you can kind of see here. I also personally have just found that doing these runs are insanely easy and AFKable, in the sense that you could just kill one of the bosses, look away for a while and do something else, and then kill another boss, just stand there for a while, and then kill another one, and you can basically just keep doing it passively without a lot of thought, and each boss takes like a minute to kill. I should also mention it's recommended to have these stats here before you do this, but I also think this is the perfect boss for mid-level players, because the bosses are just not hard to kill. The average kill is worth around 242k, which is not bad at all considering how easy this boss is, or these group of bosses are. This one is a little different from the rest in that the loot outside of the purples is only worth about 50k a chest, but at the same time you get purples very frequently, so you can't complain too much. I believe the drop rate is like 1 in 18, so again, really not bad at all. Per hour, you can expect around 2.5 mil, which is certainly nothing to scoff at, especially if you're a mid-level player just looking for some cash. For myself, I have done Moons of Peril 83 times now and have made just over 40 mil. So I've had very good luck with doing this one. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I hope you guys can stack up your bank accounts from these bosses, especially if you haven't tackled them yet. They're all very easy to learn and all very consistent, so I really couldn't recommend them enough. If you have any questions for me or want to tell me I'm stupid for my choices, please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.